Hey guys, it's me King Diablo, and in today's video I'll show you the character balance patches for Blademaster, Sage and Eclipse classes. So first let's start with Blademaster class. This is the first buff skill for Blademaster class. So this skill now creates a cyclone like animation at the end of the skill animation, and this cyclone animation does not damage your enemies, but instead it blocks any kind of projectile coming towards its direction. So basically this new animation blocks out the ranged attack from ranged classes like Huntress or any other classes. This is the second buff skill for Blademaster class. The range increase flow of the skill has been applied as default, and a new additional attack flow has been added to the skill. This new flow does same damage as the skill, has super armor while using the skill, and applies stun on enemy on successful hit. When both the flows of the skill are active, it gives the skill some additional movement distance. During this additional movement, you get super armor on the skill, but it's not applied in arena. The passive skill for Blademaster class has also been buffed. So now the critical hit chance increase effect of the passive skill applies to next two skills instead of just one skill. Also now when the passive skill effect is active, the linking speeds for the skill Squall, Rest in Peace and Rising Storm has been increased. So now let's see Eclipse class buff. So firstly, the passive skill for Eclipse class has been buffed. Now when you are using the passive skill Star's Breath up to 5 times, it activates a new effect. This new effect is called Singularity Breakthrough, and it lasts for up to 5 seconds. When this new effect is active, it gives you super armor for 5 seconds, but it's not applied in arena. Also, all the skill damage increases by 50% for 5 seconds when this effect is active. This 50% skill damage buff does not stack with the previous skill damage increase effect for the passive skill. When you are using any skill while this effect is active, it recovers your Star's Breath by 100%. Also, when this new effect is active, you can penetrate through enemies' forward guard and damage them when using the skills Royal Fencing Thrust, Royal Fencing Lunge, Remise and Meteor Flash. This is the buff skill for Eclipse class. Now when the new passive skill effect is active, you get double cooldown reduction on the skill when you hit the enemy successfully. Now let's see Sage class buff. So the passive skill for Sage class has been buffed. A new passive skill effect called Distorted Dimension has been added to Sage's passive skill effects. Now when you are using the spatial shatter or judgment of 8 skill every 17 seconds to reset the cooldown of these two skills, it also gives you additional buffs for the judgment of 8 spatial shatter and spatial collapse skills. But this buff goes away once you use any of these three skills, and you have to wait again for 17 seconds for the cooldown reset to happen again. This is the first buff skill for Sage class. Now when the distorted dimension passive skill effect is active, it increases the attack range of the skill by 20%. Also, it does an additional attack at the same time as the main attack, and this additional attack does 75% skill damage of the skill. And when these two attacks, the main attack and the additional attack, lands on the same target, it does 2 times the skill damage of the skill. This is the second buff skill for Sage class. When the distorted dimension passive skill effect is active, it increases the attack range of the skill by 20%, and it also does an additional attack at the same time as the main attack of the skill, and this additional attack does 75% skill damage of the skill. Also, when the additional attack and the main attack lands on the same target, it does 2 times the skill damage of the skill. This is the third buff skill for Sage class. Now the buffs that I am going to mention for this skill only applies for the maximum charged up version of the skill, not the one tap version of the skill. When the distorted dimension passive skill effect is active, it increases the attack range of the skill by 30%, and it also does an additional attack which lands at the same time as the main attack, and this additional attack does 75% skill damage of the skill. Also, when the main attack and the additional attack hits the same target, it does 2 times the skill damage of the skill. So that is it for today. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. I will see you in the next video. Also, I've been trying to save up some money to afford a gaming PC so that I can edit these videos properly and also produce them properly. So if you want to donate some, you can donate to my PayPal. The PayPal link is in the description below. Any amount of donation helps, and thanks in advance.